Welcome to the Mojo of Audio. I'm 3 the Chemite coming to you from the Lion's Den studio here in Paulding County, Georgia. If you don't know where that is, that's just about an hour outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Today marks the start of our first short video on mastering your final mix. In this series, I'm going to show you a few of the things that I do with the resources I have at the Lion's Den in order to complete my mastering process. Today we're going to what I call reprint the final mix using two tools that I actually use quite often. One is an API preamp and the other one is a free plugin called Nova by a company called Tokyo Dawn. Now, I want you to keep in mind that while we're using Pro Tools in an effort to show how mastering is done on this particular song, I have mixed the entire song in a program called Propellerhead Reason. And normally I'd be mastering in that as well, but I'm doing this in Pro Tools for really two reasons. The first reason is that I just wanted to show or demonstrate that this process is going to work no matter what DAW, D-A-W, digital audio workstation you are working in, and because Pro Tools is still the industry standard for film and usually most record recordings because it has been around since the beginning of digital audio workstations. Now, what that really means is that studios have spent a lot of money and a lot of time and resources in building their studios around Pro Tools. And I don't know if you know this, but studios tend to not change their setup over long periods of time to remain consistent with all of their customers. So a studio that bought a Neve console in 1973 probably had that same Neve console probably in 1993, maybe even 2003. Some of them have them working today. Somebody that invested in an SSL in the mid 80s still has that SSL board in their studio to this day. Anywho, we are going to practice our mastering process with a song already posted to YouTube by Trey and Sway called One Boy, One Girl. This is a rough mix after we got finished recording all the vocals. So let's take a listen and see what it sounds like. Now, if you notice, I'm running the track just a little hot. And the reason why is because I want to show or exaggerate the difference between what we have now and what we're going to have when we finish our pre-mastering process. In the meantime, I'm going to bring up a plugin called Nova by a company called Tokyo Dawn. The reason why I use this particular plugin, it's an EQ, but it has some really steep filter curves. And since human hearing is from 20 hertz down to 20,000 hertz up, what I do is I filter out 22 hertz down because 22 hertz is very unmusical, and about 18,000 hertz up because at 18,000 hertz it's really super unmusical. But what I want to do is I want to get rid of any sudden spikes and transients that might happen in those areas as I reprint the music. Now that we've set our filter curves and we've made a few volume adjustments, we're ready to pass audio through the API and make a few final adjustments before reprinting the mix. And we are ready to print through the API. Take a listen. Reprint done through the magic of video. Keep in mind that the API A2D preamp is actually an analog to digital mic pre, and I'm just using the analog function. I'm going in analog, I'm going out analog because I want to change my all digital mix into an analog print. And there you have it. Our mix is finally ready for our mastering process. Normally, I would have pushed the gain a little bit harder on the API. However, I know my equipment, and right now, that just wasn't a good idea for me. That is an explanation for another day. Now, you don't have to use an API. There are a lot of mic pre's out there that you can use, and an API, this API, the A2D, actually costs over $2,000. The truth is that I started doing this process when I had my Focusrite Sapphire Pro 56 because it had 2 modeling channels on it, and I used to model the API there because that's just my preferred sound. It's only a fraction of the cost on eBay, and it works beautifully. On the next Mojo of Audio, we will further explore the mastering process now that we have our print finished. If you'd like to hear this song in its entirety, guess what? It's on YouTube. Just do a search for Trey and Sway here on YouTube, and it should pop up along with a plethora of other songs done by Trey and Sway and other underground dance songs done by DJ3. In the meantime, I'm going to get back to work here in the Lion's Den studio, and I'm going to wish you much success in all of your musical endeavors.